What's going on, my beautiful people? Peace, peace, peace. Love and blessings. Man, today was an absolute beautiful day. I decided to voice over this, right? Just because it was very special for me. I actually hadn't had a drink in, man, probably maybe about 4 months, maybe 3 or 4 months. And I gotta tell you, I wanted something. Well, I hadn't really been thinking about drinking at all. But what pretty much brought me to have a drink was a story. And this story is so special to me because there's several reasons, and there's several persons in particular whom I don't know at all, first and foremost. But the inspiration, you have to really, in the world, like in your life, you have to look around. And when you're a positive individual like me, I look for things in people because first and foremost, I always wish and hope and think the utmost positive in people, right? And so this story about Fawn Weaver, and I'm going to dig up like some of the other books that she has, and I want to do more about her, just because as a person and her story in itself, although I wouldn't say that I'm rebellious. I tend to follow the rules, and I have an amazing mom, so she has always provided great guidance, as a single mom, and coming from a city, where I come from, Baltimore City, it's common to hear, of single parents, primarily single moms, unfortunately, but at the same time, raising two men and a daughter, and we lived in some pretty hostile environments. We weren't privileged as a family. We worked hard for everything that we have, right? And Fawn's story, although her background and history, she spoke about her father being into music, a writer, I believe. Correct me if I'm mistaken, but the simple fact is that she didn't necessarily benefit from any of that because her parents turned around and was more heavily religious. So she grew up in a more religious based environment, and it was very strict, restrictive, on her life and her thoughts and beliefs that she has as an individual. But she always knew that she was different, and for her to go after what she believed in is extremely inspiring, right? Because with this life, right, that we have, a lot of times we just go with the program, right? We don't necessarily go with what our heart tells us, and keep in mind, let it be positive, right? But we don't follow our hearts and our true desires. And I've noticed at 45, God willing, in another week or so, as from recording this video, I'll be blessed to be 46, and I feel more happier keeping my thoughts positive. I've always been a loving person. I've always been a grateful person, and I've always been able to show people gratitude. I'm very forgiving. I'm a much better listener than speaker, but I'm realizing my strengths, and my strengths are really being there for people, right? Being reliable, being of your word, because at the end of the day, take everything away, take all the material away. If you don't keep your word, who are you, right? So with that being said, when I discovered, me personally, the story, which is an older story now because Uncle Nearest has been around for a while. But when I discovered the story of Fawn Weaver and how she discovered, the photo of Jack Daniels. And again, shout out to Jack Daniels. I've had Jack Daniels before in my younger age. I gotta be honest, I never knew that you're just supposed to sip whiskey for one. So I'll say that for one. But just recently at a catering event, one of our event staff had got me a whiskey, and it was Jack Daniels, and I took a sip, and I'm gonna be real, I tried to sip it. It was disgusting to me, but as a person and what I've learned of Jack Daniels, I am extremely appreciative and grateful for this man, as what he did was extremely righteous and unheard of, actually what he did was unheard of even now until this day, but even for those times back when Nearest Green, Nathaniel Green, and his son George Green, who was seen in the photograph that Fawn Weaver discovered, and was basically entranced by, if I'm saying that correctly, it changed everything, right? So now, of course, I'm a major fan of Jack Daniels, of course. But this was my first time tasting. I told myself, I said, if I'm going to drink anything, it's going to be Uncle Nearest whiskey. And it's mainly because of the story behind and the way in which Fawn Weaver has incorporated Nearest's descendants, his great-granddaughter, who is basically an instrumental part of the flavoring of the taste and everything of the whiskey. And I must say, I am a huge fan. Now, I've been into cigars for a little while now. I kind of consider myself still a rookie. I've mainly basically remember my great-grandfather, whom I honestly don't even remember his last name on my father's side. I mean, his first name, I'm sorry. I know his last name is Jefferson, and he is originally from Virginia, but lived in Maryland. If you're familiar with Baltimore at all, he is from Greenmount, Berkeley. If you're familiar with that area, it's a known area in Baltimore City, to be honest, in East Baltimore. So I'm heavily looking to look up his history, and also my great-grandfather on my mom's side, whose name is Angus Smith. And our family, as I know, my great-grandfather on my mom's side was an orphan who was an extremely successful man, and became a disdained minister to our family church. And although even as a kid, I remember attending, my mom would make my brother and I go, and well, not make us, but that was just what our family did back then. It was beautiful, don't get me wrong. I could fellowship with anyone, but I always had questions, and my brother and I, we both had questions. We really always considered ourselves spiritualists. We can fellowship with anyone. We don't necessarily claim one religion in particular because we realized young that we felt like religion was a way to not manipulate people, but, I can't necessarily bring out the words right here, but a way to get what you wanted perhaps out of individuals. But spiritualists, I claim all day because I can fellowship with anyone. As long as you believe in a higher power, it doesn't matter what that higher power name may be. And I don't judge anyone for their lifestyle or who they are. I love good people. And with that being said, that is what drawed me to trying Uncle Nearest 1884. And I must say, hands down, with me even being a rookie, I would not say that I'm a tasting professional or nothing like that, but I would love to be some type of ambassador for Fawn Weaver and the Uncle Nearest team. An amazing whiskey, hands down. First whiskey I've ever tasted that I can actually say tastes good, and I just sipping it, and man, very nice. Later on in this night, my wife and I went to a cigar lounge, and I enjoyed one more small shot where I just sipped on it, and a great first experience. More to come from this, guys. It was an absolute pleasure and blessing to experience, and nothing but success to Fawn Weaver and Uncle Nearest. Appreciate your time, guys. Peace, love, and blessings. Big homie, I'll catch you in the next one. Again, be kind and be blessed. Love, guys.